it's a tough, challenging time. The power of conversation is so important in this stage, is to make the time to connect and to speak and engage in conversation. Have lots and lots of conversation, whether it's when you're cooking together. Meal times are often wonderful, wonderful times to connect. Try not to deal with a crisis in the crisis mode, but when you are finding that your teenager is relaxed and happy, try and engage in a conversation about something that maybe you are worried about, but in a very light-hearted, playful manner. I think that so many adults are quite grumpy, they take life so seriously, and sometimes we just need to drop into our childlike state and connect with them, and be a bit light-hearted in connecting and have conversations, talk about different topics, obviously age appropriately, but just opening that kind of topic, whether it's about bullying or whether it's about sexual identity or whether it's about friendships or relationships or love. So often we are in crisis mode, managing crisis all the time, and we need to step out of crisis management in terms of our children in our lives and rather go into a space where we can have more conversation to prevent moments of crisis. And so often we can do that by connecting with our kids at times where we are all happy and engaging. So we do require more time, and it requires a certain discipline in the way we are raising our kids, teenagers or even smaller kids. It requires a discipline and that consistency. They want to feel that there's a predictability, there's a sense of safety, the way you're relating to them. And of course, there's an old saying, if your children are not going to share the small things with you, they're not going to share the big things. So listen to both the small and the big things. The simple question, whatever their curious mind is asking, take the time to actually answer that, because that's a connection. And speak to them about all these challenges. I think so many parents don't want to show kids their weakness or their vulnerability. So they, of course, ideally we would love to raise our kids free of any pain or suffering. I often say to my kids, my two teenagers, if there's one thing I wish for you is that when you are experiencing a moment of struggle or pain or suffering, you need to have the skills to manage that. It's, again, that self-management. And I think we need more conversation about those kind of topics with our families. So I love meal times in my home. It's the meal times that really I get to engage with my children.